Hi everyone, today I'm going to tell you about the skills for successful negotiations. Nowadays, companies' activities in international markets are closely connected with negotiations. Whoever is on the other side of the table, supplier, customer, partner, doesn't matter. There is always something negotiable, and people usually go to some courses or workshops to get better in this sphere. They are involved in case studies, they watch videos, receiving feedback. In other words, studies are really versatile. But there is like a basic set of traits that may help you negotiate successfully in any situation. First of all, if you are in charge of negotiation, you should get ready for it, obviously. You have to prepare your objectives, work out a strategy, gather information about the other side, and carry out a market survey. For example, maybe you have to find some information about the preferences of regular customers of the company with which you are negotiating, or maybe just figure out the retail prices at the host country market, something like this. So you have to figure out also if your opponent is in a bargaining position, because if not, you may try to pressure him. For example, it's a negotiation with a supplier and his money is tight. Maybe it's a recession in his country, who knows. Um, it's gonna be really easy, probably, to get a substantial discount in this case. When it comes to negotiation itself, it's necessary to build a rapport with the opponent. You can use a small talk to do it. You have to just identify your opponent priorities. This is the main reason. The most important skills for any negotiation, I think, it's ability to listen carefully, because sometimes opponent may mean something that is not what it seems at the first glance. And of course, learn to listen and understand what your opponent means can help you to reduce misunderstandings that it can, well, negatively affect your negotiations. But for me, I think overriding aspect is appropriateness, because the common misnomer is that people, they find one way of negotiating and they don't change, but it doesn't work like this. So, for example, it's a win-win negotiation. You should consider exchanging concessions. Again, for example, your supplier giving you 10% of the price, then you have to, well, maybe offer something in return, like accept a part shipment or set more flexible delivery dates. This is a cooperative type of negotiations. It's beneficial for both sides and it's not that hard to manage it. But when it comes to competitive face to face negotiation, the situation is getting quite complicated. Most likely, it's gonna be a win lose negotiation. And if you don't want to be a loser in this negotiation, you have to have skills like assertiveness, you have to be able to manage pressure and conflicts. Of course, I think this is one of the most important. And before such negotiation, you have to figure out the desires of competitors and their weaknesses. Because during negotiation, you may press on their weaknesses and again, maybe get some discount or whatever. And in this situation of manipulating, I think knowledge of verbal language may really help you. By carefully observing your opponent's body movements, facial expressions, and maybe catching some bits of language, you'll be able to understand which topics you should put more pressure on. So, in other words, it just give you more room for negotiation because information is power, I think. At the other end of spectrum, successful negotiator have to be open-minded, creative, and able to repackage negotiation if something goes wrong, because usually everything goes wrong. So, to sum up, I think that there is no one way to negotiate, and the main idea is to identify what's appropriate in this particular situation. And a good negotiator should be able to change his behavior according to the circumstances. So that's all. Keep learning, keep it fresh, and be a good negotiator.